Recording. Oh, hello, I'm Liz Lottie. I work at the Eastern Chatham Senior Center, and we are so thrilled that you're here today. We're going to be doing our Chatham Striders Walk and Learn. This is National Volunteer Week, or I think it's actually next week. So we wanted to talk about volunteering and how it's healthy for you and how we couldn't do, our agencies couldn't do without you. So the first thing that we're going to do is welcome you all here. Thank you for coming here. And Jackie's going to tell a little bit about some of the highlights of what's going on with our Council on Aging activities. Maybe.
Sorry. I have to press the buttons and talk. That's coordination. You know, what can I tell you? All right. Good morning, everybody. We're glad you're here with us today. So it's hard to believe that we are almost to the middle of April already. So I'm going to start with Liz has this afternoon, she's starting Matter of Balance, which is from 1 to 3 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And that runs for what, 8 weeks, Liz, or 4 weeks?
It's actually 8 sessions. So it's 4 weeks. We're meeting on
sessions.
Tuesdays and Thursdays. Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to register, you want to reach out to Liz for that one. Then tomorrow at 10 a.m., we have our wonderful Neria Edwards Boone is doing the Bible study. She does it on the 2nd and the 4th Wednesday of the month. And then for those of you that are tuning in because you enjoy walking, we alternate that on Wednesday at 10 on the 1st, 3rd, and if there's a 5th Wednesday, we do that at 10 a.m. on every other Wednesday when Neria is not doing Bible study. Tomorrow, there will also be at 10 a.m. Chair Yoga with Liz is on Wednesdays now at 10 a.m. So you can register for that. And then tomorrow, we have our monthly diabetes discussion group, which is the 2nd Wednesday, and that's at 11:15. You use the same link that you used to come on today, you can use for that. And tomorrow we're going to have Laura Hearn from the Chatham County Health Department, and she's going to be talking about the nutrition fact label, the new nutrition facts label. I always learn something new when they go over that. And then on Mondays and Thursdays at 10 a.m., I do arthritis class. Tomorrow is Thursday the 15th is the last day you can join that and still do enough of the classes to be able to attend that with me. And then on 3 o'clock on Mondays and Thursdays, we also have Tai Chi for arthritis. So we really try to keep you physically fit. And then 11:15 on Thursday the 15th, we always have on the 3rd Thursday, we have the birthday celebration for all those that are celebrating their birthday that month. And then on Friday this week, we have a special guest. We have Nathan Walker from the UNC, and he is a sleep trained neurologist. And he's going to be talking about sleep on Friday on Dennis's call at 10:15. Then he is also doing a program next Tuesday on the 20th at 11:15, and it's going to be an in-depth program on sleep, and it's called All You Want to Know About Sleep and We're Too Tired to Ask. And I didn't come up with that one, just so you know. All right. Those of you that were on early for the laughs, it wasn't part of my joking. And then next, every Monday we have Bingo with Joe, and then next Wednesday we have on 11:15, we have sexual abuse awareness for those 65 and over. And that is being presented by Samantha Osu, who's from Second Bloom of Chatham, which is the domestic violence and sexual assault agency of Chatham County. And then on the 22nd, Thursday, we have Tech Cafe training. So if you want to learn more about using your phone, your tablet, or your computer, tune in for that. And then we have on Dennis's call on Friday the 23rd, we have more information about sexual abuse awareness. On the 27th, we have Bluegrass Music with Uncle Ed and the Curl Daddies. And then on the 28th, which is Wednesday at 11:15, we have Spring Wild Edibles with Alan Rousseau. So he always does a wonderful program. And then on the 29th, to challenge your brain, we have Trivia with Faye. And then we have Healthcare Power of Attorney information from Erin Haygood from Legal Aid of North Carolina on Friday, the 30th with Dennis. So we hope you'll join us for these things. Check out our calendar, and we're glad you're all here.
All right.
Back to
Thanks,
you, Liz.
Jackie. So we actually have Debbie Scotton and Daniel Spivey on today. So if I don't know if you can highlight one of them at a time. Somebody's phone's ringing.
Yes, I can. Just give me a second
Okay.
to find them.
All right. So for all those
right.
who don't know, the Chatham Striders Walk and Learn is a program that we started to just get to walk. We initially started it right before COVID hit, and our intention was to go to different parks and walk and then have an educational presentation once a month. And so we couldn't do it without our partners with the Chatham County Parks and Rec, with the Siler City Parks and Rec, and with the Chatham Hospital. And so Daniel Spivey's here right now. I don't know if you got any updates about the Siler City Parks and Rec, but we're thrilled that you're here today.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Thanks for inviting me again. Just a couple of updates. All of our parks and trails remain open. So if you guys ever want to get out and walk in any of our trails, just let us know. We'd be happy to help connect you with maybe a new track or new trail. We are gearing up the summer pool season. So if you or your families are interested in coming out to the Bray Park Aquatic Facility out at Bray Park in Siler City, our opening date is set for May 29th, Memorial Day weekend, and that will go through Labor Day weekend. So if you want to know any more about the mission or any kind of operations, just give us a call. And then the last thing is we just reopened our adult basketball program. It takes place every Wednesday and Sunday evenings from 6 to 9 at Ernest Ramsey Gym here in Siler City. It's just an open gym basketball for any adults that would like to come out just for a pickup game.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much. So we're trying to work on right now a arthritis aquatic exercise class at Siler City and also in Pittsburgh. So I don't know if Jackie has any updates on that, but I can't believe it. Pool season's almost ready to come out. So make sure that you get your bikinis out. All right, so I guess I know Debbie's on too. So if we can have Debbie come on, I know she doesn't have any updates. She might have something about the COVID vaccine.
Yes, I was just on a call, and they're still giving Moderna back here. And I don't know if you guys just heard about the Johnson & Johnson's been pulled. So that's been pulled, the one-shot one. So, but anyway, we're still doing vaccines, and the age has been dropped to 16 years and above can have the shots. So that's all that's pretty much going on here at the hospital.
Okay. Have things slowed down for you, or?
Oh, no.
No.
We're very busy in the rehab, and our diabetes program is picking up. So we're trying to catch up.
Well, I know you wear a lot of hats. We thank you for taking the time out to be part of us here at the Chatham Striders. So, all right. Well, thank you so much. So we're going to bring out Diane Birch. And so we talked about already, this is National Volunteer Month, or week, I guess, is coming up. And Diane Birch is with Chatham Connecting. She's going to tell us a little bit about volunteering and maybe some volunteer opportunities in the community. So we're so thrilled that you're here. You're the volunteer guru for Chatham County. And we also have one at our agency, but anyways, thank you.
Good. Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be with this group and share. They're so impressed at how many activities you're all doing. And that's good for all of us, especially during this more difficult time of COVID. So I'm talking about volunteering in health, and I assume because you're here, you are interested in learning about volunteering and already concerned about health, hopefully. I also am interested in how volunteering affects our health, and I've had fun updating what I have previously known about this subject. And so I'm planning that I will first focus on some of the benefits, both in physical and mental health of volunteering, and then talk about a few examples of volunteering that are available here in Chatham County. And with that, we'll talk the little bit that any of us know, I think, about how our agencies and nonprofits are adapting to COVID restrictions and ways to be safe during this time. So in general, research consistently shows benefits to both mental and physical health when we volunteer. One researcher who has done a great deal of research and some long-term research stated, "I've been looking at this research on volunteering and health for years now, and I have not found a single study where volunteering did not affect health positively in some way." One long-term study that went on for like 14 years that was reported in a journal last year found that people who volunteered were more satisfied with their lives, and they rated their overall mental and physical health as better than those who don't volunteer. And during this 14-year study, people who started to volunteer also became happier over time. The reason this seems, volunteering seems to be positive for mental and physical health is that when we help others, think of others, we become happier. We have sort of a warm glow sometimes. I hope that you will take a minute right now and let's see if we can make that happen for ourselves. So take a moment and take a deep breath and think, how are you feeling? Are you relaxed? We've been laughing. Are you stressed, tense, have pain somewhere? So if you rated your happiness on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being just as happy as ever, where would you be? Now take another deep breath and let those thoughts go. And imagine yourself right now carrying over some soup to a neighbor who's been sick. You arrive at their door, or perhaps go into their kitchen to give them some warm soup on a day when they feel sick. What are you seeing? What are you feeling? Now notice, do you feel any differently inside when you think about your neighbor's face and how they responded when you came over? Hopefully you feel somewhat of that warm glow that comes from doing something to help someone else. And presumably your neighbor who got to enjoy the soup and your thoughtfulness and help also felt that warm glow. So when we try to think about others and help them out in any way, we tend to get some benefits. In fact, some of the researchers say that the person who is the helper, the one giving help to others, benefits even more than the person receiving the help. I'm not sure whether that, maybe, hopefully both benefit. Multiple studies of volunteers usually are looking at people who are volunteering fairly often, and studies use like 100 hours a year. So the greater benefit may come from more frequent volunteering. But the specific things that are noted is that your brain works better. There's less dementia. When we're interacting with other people, even having to do it via Zoom, we think more, we're noticing other people. So better brain functioning comes with volunteering. Also because not just the interactions, but because you're thinking of that other person, and that gets more parts of our brain going. Volunteering also is related with less stress in our lives, less depression, decreased anxiety, and increased self-esteem. We feel better about ourselves. Probably much of this improvement in mental and physical health, is because it helps decrease loneliness when we see our neighbor, when we get together, when we perhaps take Meals on Wheels to someone, then that kind of interaction benefits the volunteers as it does the recipients of help. And as we tried earlier, just thinking about other people brings us a warm glow, and that decreases stress and decreases loneliness. There are physical health benefits to volunteering also. Has been documented in a number of studies, and most of these studies, by the way, are on older people over 50, over 60. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about studies with younger people also. Physical health improvements from volunteering are decreased blood pressure. And that's been documented a number of times, probably related to decreased stress. Decreased dementia, as I've mentioned, better brain functioning, and fewer hospitalizations for people who volunteer than for people who do not. So now, and obviously, again, this shows the interrelationship of mental and physical health. If we think better, if we're less stressed, we feel better and have better, lower blood pressure and better brain health and overall health. And some longer-term studies show that long-term volunteers have longer and healthier lives. And part of that, I think, is not only the interactions, not only the decreased stress, but that we are focusing when we're volunteering on other people and on helping other people. And that whatever we get to choose what we focus on in lives. We're all probably old enough to know that's true. We can sit and think of what's wrong and what worries us, or we can sit and think about what can I do to help and how can I make life better for others or help my community. Some of the research also shows that our motive matters. If we're helping another person, that because we want to help other people, then we even get more benefit for our health and decrease stress and positive feelings. I'm going to switch just briefly and talk about benefits of volunteering for young people, which there are some studies on that. And I assume many of us have children and grandchildren that we care about, and perhaps even extra care and concern during this COVID time. They've shown that if young people volunteer and that they think about other people more than themselves, as we all know, as teenagers and young people, generally these are teenagers up to mid-20s, the studies are on, and that young people tend to think a lot about themselves. And in this era of social media, it seems to me that my grandchildren spend a lot of time thinking about how they compare to their other peers on social media, etc. Well, volunteering gets them out of their own head some and out of that comparison, or if they're comparing, they're learning that some other people are having a difficult time, that some other people have lives quite different than theirs, and there's something they can do to help. So research is quite positive for young people volunteering, just as it is for those of us who are older. These young volunteers have increased empathy for other people. They become more aware of the diversity in their community, and in a whole measure of things we would call success, that doing well in school, completing high school, getting into college, graduating. Those are all correlated with volunteer work. And I'm now thinking about children and grandchildren and other groups that we're part of, volunteering with others, either our neighbors, our families, work colleagues, church groups. Volunteering together even increases benefits more because we're having those interactions and that sense of purpose that's shared together. And there are group opportunities, family opportunities for volunteering. So I've been involved in volunteering with Chatham Connecting since the beginning, about 10 years ago, 11 years ago now. And that's on a website that's just a database of what services are available for people to help people in Chatham County. So we include information about agencies, nonprofits, some of our government agencies that serve people in Chatham, and at least some of their service is at a free or reduced rate. Council on Aging is one of our over 100 agencies. We had no idea when we began that there are over 100 agencies in Chatham County that meet that criteria and that serve our community. And many of them need volunteers. So on our website, not only do we have information about their programs and what services they provide, but we also have information about their volunteer opportunities and needs, their donation needs, not just for funds, which they also need this, but also for products and food, clothing, things that you can donate that you no longer need. So you can work, and in the volunteer category, if you search on the Chatham Connecting website, there you can look for what interest areas you have. Do you like, are you interested in animals and concerned about them? Do you care about education and you want to get involved in some way to help with either children or adults in education efforts? Would you like to help with fundraising, or perhaps you have skills in office? So there are many different areas to volunteer in, and many, many different ways to volunteer, and not just for agencies, but I'll talk more about that in a moment. On the Chatham Connecting homepage, we have a button at the moment that clicks on volunteer opportunities from home. And obviously we did this and enhanced it some because of COVID, and many people at the moment are not comfortable trying to go out of their homes to volunteer. And we had that category for quite a while because some of us aren't as mobile as we once were, and we can best volunteer from home. So there are a number of opportunities. I'll name a few. CARE, which is Chatham Animal Rescue and Education, a group that helps rescue animals, has been seeking for quite a while more help with volunteers to answer their voicemail. So if someone calls and leaves a message, they would love to have some volunteers willing one day a week or on some schedule to just pick up messages and help people who have animals that need rescuing. And that can be done from home. The Red Cross just very recently created virtual disaster action team, and with some training, they help teach you what you can do to help people in an emergency, so that if someone's house caught on fire, for example, besides all the rescue people that would come in the fire department, that the Red Cross gets involved in helping that family learn what resources are available in our community to help them have shelter and food and get back on their feet So you can become a virtual disaster action team member with some training, and all of that's done by phone. A hospice, Amadeus Hospice, a local a program that serves us in our community, has looked for a number of volunteers, and some of their volunteers, after some training, are virtual. So they are bereavement counselors, but also some are people that just are willing to call and say, how are you doing today? And that's a way to volunteer, whether with Amadeus Hospice, whether with Council on Aging, whether with a number of organizations, or not with any organization. You can volunteer today to call the neighbor or friend or member of your church that you know is alone and would love to have someone talk with them, just to find out how you are. That's how Meals on Wheels often has done research over the years, when they used to be able to deliver meals in person, and to find that the food's very important and critical sometimes for life, but it's the social interaction with the person delivering the meals that means so much. So finding ways to relate. So these are ways that that you can help. Actually, Second Bloom, that was mentioned earlier, is another agency that seeks people to help on their helpline with virtual, by phone, and answer the phone. And they, again, do training to help you out. Several agencies in Chatham County, probably all of them, have worked very hard to find ways to continue their services, for which they need volunteers in order to do the services, but to figure out how to do it safely. For example, Habitat for Humanity has recently reopened their Restore stores that help raise funds and resell items that are donated. And they have figured out some ways to do that safely with masking and social distancing. Sometimes there's just events coming up that you can help with, sort of a one-time thing. And one fun one coming up very soon in Siler City is the Chatham Partnership for Children Day of the Books. And they need lots of volunteers of all ages to help. It's going to be a drive-through event with somehow having musicians and people on stilts, and it sounds like a lot of fun. But they need volunteers to help sort out the books that they will be giving to children, and so they'll have books to read this summer. And then they're giving out some food and and they need younger volunteers to help set up the event, and that, I believe, is at Bray Park, to think about our wonderful Parks and Rec facility that can be used. There are several of our Chatham nonprofits work towards education, tutoring, mentoring. So Communities in Schools, Chatham Education Foundation, the Learning Trail, Chatham Literacy for Adults, all are doing some sort of either in-person, socially distancing, careful with mask interactions, or have virtual reading with kids and or helping kids do their homework, which is very important always, but during this time. So there are many, many agencies in our community that need your help. But it isn't just the agencies. Every one of us can help someone else, and volunteering isn't all formal and getting registered or getting trained. It can also be just thinking of what's needed in your community right now. Does your neighbor need a warm soup because they're not well or they have trouble cooking? Will it help if you could go to the grocery store and pick something up? some people have volunteered recently to help neighbors get signed up to get vaccines because the neighbor has difficulty figuring it out. That people, there are projects that people are doing, some through formal agencies like Habitat has a sewing group. If you like to sew, Habitat did, and I think still does, have a sewing group that does makes like placemats and things that they sell at the restore. A neighbor of mine volunteers to sew baby blankets for something called the Linus Project, which gives out blankets at the UNC hospitals to sick children. Amadeus, that I mentioned earlier, hospice, would love to have someone make quilts or shawls that for some of their people in hospice care. So if you're interested in gardening, goodness, there's such a need for fresh vegetables everywhere. At Cora, West Chatham Food Pantry needs volunteers to help with all of their services, but also would welcome having donations of fresh vegetables. So if you can garden, maybe you can grow an extra row to help your people in their community. If you have skills to and interest in building and doing woodworking, maybe you can make birdhouses so that more people, somebody I saw yesterday is trying to get people to put bluebird houses all over so the birds will have more homes. Some of you may have skills having to do with animals or farming and 4-H and just the kids around having a chance to learn from you. So there's obviously endless opportunities for us to help each other. And I deeply believe that we all get by with a little help from our friends.
Sounds like a Beatles song. Hey, thank you so much. This has been just really rich information. I appreciate you coming on to our event here. And how can people get in touch with you? I know you mentioned the website, but is there a phone number that they could call you up on if they needed to?
They can email Chatham Connecting. We have several volunteers. I tried to get one of our younger, very enthusiastic volunteers, but they're not only working full time, but have young children at home, so they're challenged. But yes, they can go to info@chathamconnecting.org.
Okay, all right. So either go to the website and they'll find all the listings there, or they could email info and at chathamconnecting.org.
Yes.
So, okay. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I know you have to get off to your luncheon. You're just coming off vacation and going to lunch, but we're so appreciative that you took the time out today to talk to us. And
well, thank you. So. And I'm delighted to be part of this. Thank you all. Bye now.
Bye-bye. You. Thank you. So I was going to have Allison talk next, but I know that one of our volunteers, there is a lot of volunteers actually on the call today. I'm just going to mention them really quick. I see Debbie's a volunteer. She maybe Allison can do this when she comes on, but you know, Patty, Neria, Val and Rick, Mike, Rosemary, let's see, Shirley Brooks. I mean, there's a lot of volunteers on the call right now. We just couldn't do what we did without you. So thank you so much. But I wanted to talk, have Mike Flannery come on right now. We're actually in the final days of registering for senior games, and Mike Flannery is our senior games ambassador, and he's going to talk a little bit about volunteer opportunities with senior games. So, Mike.
Good morning, everybody.
Mike. I guess it says Michael on there.
Yeah, I need to change that. I actually do prefer Mike. I've been participating in the senior games since about 2016, sort of discovered them by accident one day when I went to play pickleball at the Herb Young Center in downtown Cary, and I've been excited about it ever since. I actually volunteered to be an ambassador the very first time I participated and had a discussion with Liz. Took a few years to be able to get the training done because I was gone every time they were doing the training, but we finally got it done this year. I participate in a wide variety of senior game events, including tennis, pickleball, golf, basketball, shooting, football, softball throw, cornhole, bocce, disc golf this year, I hope, horseshoes. And in fact, I enjoy it so much, I'm also participating in the Durham and the Wake County senior games this year. For me, it serves as a motivator to be active in a variety of events. And in fact, I'm playing the Siler City Golf Course this afternoon because that's when I'm playing for the Chatham County Senior Games. So how does that tie in with volunteers? Well, volunteers for the Senior Games, from what I've observed, event setup and breakdown, officiating, timers for a variety of events, scorekeepers. We've had ball boys and ball girls for pickleball and tennis, which were tremendous assistance. Assistance with the basketball, shooting, football throw, cornhole, bocce, behind the scenes work, including the steering committee, which I also sit on, stuffing goodie bags and passing out T-shirts, awards, snacks. That's just to name a few things that people do. And in short, from my observation, North Carolina Senior Games wouldn't be possible without volunteers.
That is correct. The other thing, I'm looking at Debbie right now, that we have available is cheering at the events. And some of y'all have cheered at the, I think last year, or the year before, we set chairs up and gave people, pom-poms to cheer at the event. So that's always a good time to do too. And Debbie's smiling, but Debbie was our head cheerleader, and so I know that they've come to several events and brought some cheer. So there's different ways there. But thank you so much, Mike. Does anybody have any questions? I know that we couldn't really take questions with Diane because she had to leave, and Mike's leaving too. But any questions about senior games at all? Anybody have any questions about the opportunities? Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Mike. And, enjoy your golf game.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah.
So the next person that we're going to bring on is Allison Andrews, and she is our dear volunteer coordinator for the Council on Aging, and she's going to talk a little bit about volunteer opportunities here and how actually to get involved. So thanks, Allison, for coming out of your busy schedule and talking to us today.
Hope you're doing well. Good to see some of y'all.
Good.
So right now we are currently in the middle of VITA, like right now, as in like right now at this very moment, and Meals on Wheels. So if I get called out at any point in time, I apologize. But I am the volunteer coordinator at the Council on Aging. We have several volunteer opportunities right now. Like Mike said, we have the steering committee with senior games. We also need help with senior games for just people helping at the event. So, for example, our bocce event, we need help, scoring, handing out goodie bags, or making sure everyone's on the right team. We have several different events that we need help with. Another thing, and we just currently recruited volunteers for our minor home repair program. Our minor home repair group, they go out and we don't build ramps, but we can repair them, or we can install a ramp that's already been built. So we don't get a lot of donations, but if we get a donation for a metal ramp, our volunteers can go install it. They'll go and fix leaky water sinks or anything like that. So we're always looking for volunteers for that. We currently started partnering with Golden Corral. So our kitchen used to fix all of our meals. Now Golden Corral is going to be catering our meals for Meals on Wheels for our congregate food, our frozen meal clients. And when we bring those every Friday, so we need help with putting the meals together. So they already come cooked, and what we're looking for is just volunteers helping to organize the meals, put them in bags, and that they have different jobs. So basically helping bag all the food. And that's at both centers. So that's in Western Center and in the Eastern Chatham Center. Another thing that we are always looking for volunteers for is any technical support. So we currently have given out devices, and I don't know if anyone on here has one of our devices, but we wrote a grant for tablets to be given out to seniors so that you guys can come to our awesome programs and also connect with your family or your loved ones. Anything to keep socially interactive. So we are looking for what we're calling tablet buddies. So you will be the person who checks in on, so for example, if Liz has a tablet, you would do a check-in with Liz every week. So you would, you can text her on the tablet, you can call her on the tablet, call her on the phone. You can or I guess it's not called FaceTime. I don't know what it's called, tablet to tablet, but video time. Any way of being, it's kind of like our friendly phone caller program. If anyone's involved with that, scan the screen real quick. But our friendly phone caller program works the same way. We give you a person to call, and you call them every week, and you might call them every Tuesday at 2 o'clock, or whatever you set up between your the person you're calling. So it's the same thing. You'll just be doing a check-in with them every week. Just hello, how's your tablet working? If you need any help with your tablet. And so you'll have, we're going to do a training on that. Liz, we have 9 people.
Jackie would probably know better. Jackie?
Yeah, we have between 7 and 10. We've got some that we're still trying to get out. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Rosemary's actually on our call right now. That's on one of our tablets. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So, how's it working, Rosemary?
It's a lot of fun. It is really, really.
There we go.
There's still a few flips, but other than that, I'm enjoying having it. I really am. It is quite a blessing. Thank you.
Good, good. So, for example, like what Rosemary and I just did, that would be what you would do. So something just as simple as that. How's your day going? Anything like that. And so we're just asking for a group of 10 people. We're going to do a training with you we have a consultant who will help us do our training. And then after that, we'll meet every month just to see how things are going and just to stay in check. How you feel the program's going, and just to get feedback from the people who have the tablets as well. So if you're interested in that, that's our newest volunteer opportunity. Did I leave anything out, Liz?
Well, if you could tell people how to actually, who haven't been volunteering, how would they get an application, and how that all works? Yeah, I'm bored.
Started with that. So if you are not a volunteer, and a lot of y'all are volunteers on here, you just fill out a volunteer application. It's not too bad. It's about 3 pages. And I can email it to you, or if you don't have email, I can mail you one in the mail. So very flexible with that, and you just turn it in and we'll go over it. And what I do is, if you're new to the Council on Aging, I just talk about the Council on Aging, talk about all of our opportunities. And without COVID, I would typically walk you around the center and introduce you to everybody. But we don't really do that anymore. Just because everyone's at their own home, or we take turns coming to the office. After that, so if you will be working one-on-one with one of the seniors, we do a background check. Background checks you do not have to pay for. The Council on Aging pays for them. And then after your background check is cleared, then we'll get you set up. So for example, if you're interested in volunteering for senior games, I would connect you with Liz, who's our senior games coordinator. If you're interested in helping with minor home repair, I will connect you with Winfield. He'll give you more information about that. If you're interested in helping with the food supply and getting food organized, depending on which center, the Pittsburgh Center is Allen, and the Siler City Center is Tillman, and so on. So we have lots of volunteer opportunities. So just depending on what you want to do. We'll go
So
more.
if they're already volunteers, then they can volunteer additional. They don't just have to have one job. So.
Right, exactly. So if you're already a volunteer and you are already have your volunteer application, then just let me know. If you're interested in doing something else, then we can definitely get you in the right direction. Another thing we do to just keep track of our hours on our website, we log all of our volunteer hours. It's under the volunteer page. So if you volunteer for an hour of helping with the tablets with one of the seniors, then you would just go on the website, find the log hours here, and you just complete. It's a Google form, and it's real easy. It's just like a survey. Type your name in, what you did, how many hours you spent doing it, and submit it. And so we keep track of our hours every month. Those volunteer hours we use for grants. We use, so for example, for meals, we are a Meals on Wheels organization. So we use our volunteer hours, and most recently, 2 years ago, we started keeping track of our mileage. And so we record our hours and our miles for Meals on Wheels, and that's part of our grant. The same thing, our big, right now, one of our big volunteer opportunities was VITA. So they spent countless hours preparing people's taxes, and that was a free service offered from us. And so in return, we have to record all of our hours and how many people we helped. And so when you record your hours, that helps us apply for a grant for the following year. So recording your hours is very important for our nonprofit, because if it shows I do it without you, more so, especially now, definitely always, but this pandemic has really made us think outside the box, and we just tried to figure out how to make things work differently. And without y'all, we could not do that. And it's with your ideas that we've been able to continue some of our programming. So that has just been extraordinary. So thank you so much.
Allison, you were saying think outside the box. I think we're thinking inside the box in our computer right now.
Yeah, look inside the circle.
I know. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Allison?
Before we do that, I did had to mute a couple of people. So if you came on by phone and you seem to be talking and nobody is hearing you, please hit the star, which is down by your 0 key on your keypad, and then the 6. So it's *6 to unmute yourself if you want to talk. Thank you. Go ahead, Liz.
Yep. So would anybody have any questions or comments for Allison while she's here? You don't get a chance to sit down with Allison very often. She's going here and going there. So.
I'm sorry.
Val's laughing. Neri's laughing.
My phone rang 4 times. So.
Oh my goodness.
It's okay though. No, it's good. It's good to spend time with everybody.
So Allison, the best way to get in touch with you if they wanted to would be email or voicemail, or what would you say?
Yep. So if you need to get in touch with me, you can email me. And I can, yep, there you go. I guess that's Jackie. She's on top of it. So yeah, you can email me, and or you can call me at the office. So I'm only in the office on Tuesdays and Thursdays for right now. I do check, Jackie, it's all the way, Chatham Council on Aging.
You wouldn't get there from COA?
Yeah, that COA one doesn't work. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
So I am in the office on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And if you do call the office, I do check my phone messages every day. So whichever way is better for you.
Okay. Thanks, Allison. I bet you're relieved that Vita's, kind of coming sort of over with almost. It's dwindling down.
Almost.
So,
Yes.
yeah. Okay, well, great. Well, we've got some more in the box volunteers. Val and Rick are on today, and they just took the ground running. And I think that they're up there as far as how many volunteer hours that they do. Val, she teaches Tai Chi for arthritis, and Val and Rick, both of them they kind of tag team, and they come on our calls, and they help us take attendance, and they help us spotlight people and let people on, and they are just awesome. They're going to help out with our Matter Balance class, and the list goes on and on and on. It's like they're working for us, but we're so appreciative. And they're going to talk a little bit about, about their volunteer experience with this Council on Aging.
I'm going to start. Mine's short.
Can you get a little bit closer to the microphone?
For some reason, this PC doesn't pick me up very well, even though I'm trying to talk a little bit louder. But volunteering has been very, very rewarding for me. And I do help take attendance and all, but that's kind of the easy part. I'm not really a technical person when it comes to all of the technology and all, but I do know a few things. And one of the things I've helped people do is to get a larger image when they're doing the Zoom. I think there's some people know that you can attach your computer to your TV and get a larger image, but you can also do that with a smartphone and or a tablet where it's very small looking at an image on your phone. But by getting a cable, most TVs nowadays, you can hook up your smart tablets, smartphones to your TV to get a much larger image so you can see in terms of the training. I think probably 2 people I helped do that just recently. And I think it made their enjoyment with the Zoom exercising a lot better than watching something on a small screen. And taking attendance is kind of easy, so I've done that, and that's enjoyable too. It actually keeps me active a little bit. But so it's been rewarding for me.
Amen. I hope you can hear me, but Rick has got to go fix lunch because we will be on the Matter of Balance call at 1 o'clock, and we have to eat in between. But for us, I am usually the first person to go out front and do some volunteering, and you actually just get a package deal because Rick comes along. I usually sign him up for more things than he probably would have agreed to do on his own. But he's the kind of person that if you ask him to do something and he can do it, he will help you do it. And so I have made his day busy. And by the way, he does the volunteer hours for Judy and Diane primarily, who teaches the Tai Chi class, because she just didn't want to do that. She didn't want to be bothered with any paperwork. So Rick agreed to do that. And so Allison is probably happy with some of the information that Rick has been putting into those volunteer hours.
I have been. Thank you.
And that, maybe they'll help you for your grants. And so, but we like to help people. And I would have to say that I went to the senior center and I was taking a Tai Chi class over there before we went to the virtual stuff. And then when we started going virtual, I was so impressed with the outreach that the Chatham Senior Center, the Council on Aging, was trying to make to all of the seniors in the county, that how can you not do what you can do to contribute? I also contribute financially too. I've always done that with any organization that I've been involved with. When I'm in, I'm all in. And my schedule is busy because I also volunteer with the League of Women Voters. And during election time, that takes a lot of work. And actually, Jackie helped me a little bit with voting last year, because I gave her a T-shirt, and on her exercise classes, she would tell people, just vote. It was nonpartisan, but it was a big help. And so I appreciated that. And I volunteer with Chatham Habitat. At least I love construction work. So working on the job site was so great to get out there and nail a few nails and say, oh, that person, I'm going to take care of them. That's what Habitat would do for you, because it gave you instant gratification. The other volunteering that we're doing here in terms of the technical stuff, you don't get that instant satisfaction, instant gratification. But I'm beginning to see from the Tai Chi, I can see how people are enjoying it, and I can see that people are trying to do the right thing. And Rick loves, he started taking attendance at Jackie's class. No, it wasn't Jackie's class, Liz's class. Okay, maybe Jackie asked him to take attendance at one class. Now he takes attendance, 6 classes, 5 or 6, or however many there are. And so he knows, who's coming and who's not showing up. And actually that helps me too, because I now have a few phone calls to make to people from the Tai Chi class, just to reassure them that, we care about them. And that kind of goes along with it too. And it can take a lot of time, but as I said, when I'm in, I'm all in, and I'm going to go the whole 9 yards. But Rick does have to leave now. Go fix lunch. Oh yeah, that's right. That's the other thing that Rick does. Yeah, he's the timekeeper.
He is the official timekeeper. We thank you, Rick, for being the timekeeper.
Right.
That really helps out as an instructor, because you're trying to do so much. You're trying to watch everybody on the screen. You're trying to maybe look at people that are coming in. You're thinking about what you're going to do next. And so it's a really big help to have that clock. What he does is they open up 2 screens, one that they're in, and then the other one just has the clock. And he makes it so the clock is really big. It takes up the whole screen. And that way you can know, oh gosh, I only have, 5 more minutes left, or wow, I thought I was further along than here, so it really gives you a good chance to kind of keep up with it. So yeah, that just little things like that really make a difference. And so I think that's what I love about both of you, is that you do little things and big things, for our classes, and all of it helps. It's an enormous amount. Our Tai Chi for arthritis, we actually don't pay anybody to do it. We have 3 volunteers that are actually teaching the class right now, and we couldn't offer it. I mean, if you go to a Tai Chi class, you have to pay the instructor, and so it's just a really big savings for us. And so thank you so much. Appreciate all your help here. And I know we have some other volunteers on the call. Would anybody else like to share about their experiences? Yep. Kind of putting you on the spot. Debbie, would you like to say anything? Because you've been volunteering a lot, and I know Rosemary has.
Well, I for 5 years, I have volunteered with VITA taxes, and in doing so, I really enjoy, and I get familiar with the clients and their tax situation, because this year we was doing it virtual, so it was a lot different, and it was trial and error. We had to learn how we was going to handle it this year, and Allison did an excellent job in the back. She developed 4 parking spaces, and she put up signs and set out table and sanitizer. The client will, before they would come to the front, and we have 4 volunteers each time. And Mary Ann did an excellent job on the phone. We had a Google number connected to the computer, and the client will call, and she would instruct them to come to the back. And they will place their envelopes, which they receive in advance, Allison stuffed envelopes. And some of them did not quite understand how to fill out the documents. And so there were volunteers available that weren't busy to assist them on the porch. And it just made it very, once, we got the hang of things, we just went right through it. And I was the intake person, which I enjoyed doing that, getting the client's packet and going through the documents and making sure documents are signed and the client has everything they need to get their taxes processed in a timely fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So,
now, what did you do in your life before when you were working? You were working in for the government or?
No, I worked at UNC Hospitals. I retired for 30 years at UNC Hospital, and I was a manager in the Health Information Management Department. And I took care of all the paper charts, and then we went to electronic Epic charts. And I had 24 employees, and then it got down to 12 employees. Yes, that's what I did. And I had 3 sites.
And that carries over your skills that you gleaned. And I'm sure Val and Rick too, the skills that you learned come out. So, well, let's hear from another couple of volunteers. I'm going to showcase Patty. There she is. So Patty's, I guess, one of our newest volunteers, and she just jumped right in, and she's another one that says, gosh, whatever you need me to do, I'll do. And so she's been calling people up. She comes in on the calls and on our Zoom calls and helps call people in and, calls them up on site. So we're appreciative of you. Anything you want to say or?
No, it's my pleasure. It's just always been my nature to try to help wherever I think it might be needed. But it's been more rewarding for me.
Well, you have a gift of encouragement, and you send us cute, funny emails and encouragement. And so that just goes a long way. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
And Neria, I'm going to put you in the hot seat. So Neria is all over the place. She's a woman of many talents. So she does storytelling for us. She's on the advisory committee. She's the head of the program and services. She's also on the board, and she helps call people in. And she also has a small group that she calls people in. Is there anything else that she does, Jackie? I'm sure I probably forgot something.
She does Bible study.
Oh, that's right. The Bible
She does the Bible study two Wednesdays a month. Yep.
Yep.
And I'd just like to say amen to our speaker this morning, because she was exactly right for what volunteering does for you and for your inner spirit and for your own health. That's what I found.
That's true. That's true. Well, thank you, Neria. And then, she's muted right now, but let me go back, and I don't know what happened to Rosemary. I guess she took off. She wasn't there, but so when we were meeting in person, we have a volunteer, Louise Dunstan, who's on the phone, and she was in charge of our puzzle area. And so she would make sure that it was all cleaned up and that, we got pictures taken of the puzzles, and she was kind of our puzzle lady. And so we're grateful for that. How about from Siler City? Is there anybody from Siler City that I don't know about? A volunteer, and I know there was some other ones that are on the call today, but we just wanted to give you an opportunity just to hear about volunteering, and you already know. Yes.
Sorry, Daryl Jones was a volunteer when he was at the center too. He
helped
with meals, and he helped with stuffing envelopes and putting newsletters together and keeping all of the staff on our toes and where we should be. Right, Daryl?
Yes. Daryl's on mute right
He's
now.
muted. Daryl, you'd have to do *6 to unmute. Yeah, he also was the head of our card program, making sure that there were birthday cards and getting well cards and that kind of thing, and getting everybody to sign it.
I totally forgot about that. Gosh, it's been a year. I feel like amnesia or something. It's been a long time. But so there, everybody together. I heard it this way. So like, there's this huge sun and all these rays that are coming down, and so you guys are all like those rays that are coming down, and just warming our hearts, and making life a better place. And so we're so appreciative of everything that you do. And like we said earlier, we couldn't do it without you. And so we just wanted to take this time today to just say, thank you for being volunteering for us. And if you want to get involved, just let us know, and keep on keeping on. And we just look forward to hopefully opening up our center sometime soon. So thank you so much. I appreciate all of you, and have a wonderful rest of the day.